Hey friends, welcome back. If you happen to be new around these parts, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Debt Free D, and I'm on a journey to pay off over $55,000 in debt. Now, one of the ways I'm able to do that is by selling things on eBay. Now, I don't have an online business or anything like that. I just normally sell things around here, around the house, that no longer bring me joy or are things I no longer use and are in great condition. I've sold things from designer purses to pet supplies, from jewelry to regular everyday items and clothing. And that again has afforded me the opportunity to collect some extra change for my debt-free journey. In prep for this video, I looked at my eBay account and saw that I've been a member since 2004. And I wouldn't say I've sold a ton of things in that time. I was definitely buying. But I would say in the last 3 years, because of my debt-free journey, I have ramped up my selling on eBay. And last month, in the month of March, I sold 7 items on eBay. And a few of you said, what are you doing? How are you doing this? So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I list and sell on eBay. I'm going to try to do my best to put as much into a 15 to 20 minute video, as many of my best tips and tricks. Now, if there's anything I missed, feel free in the comment section to list out your own suggestions or any questions you have as we're going along. Now make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up. Let's get started. I first want to share some applications and supplies, some of them mandatory in order to list, and some of them I find are nice to have around and make it really convenient for you to list. First up is an eBay account. Go ahead and get your eBay account all set up and ready to go. Make sure you're aware of the fees to list an item and what eBay charges to sell items on their website. You may want to determine your shipping time frame, all of those things. Just make sure you have your eBay account set up and ready to go and your preferences indicated in your eBay account. I also think having your PayPal account set up and ready to go is a great idea. Your PayPal will be used not only to accept payment when you sell an item, but also can be used for payment to eBay as well. From there, you'll want to think about how you plan to shoot and upload your pictures. Is it going to be the camera on your tablet, your laptop, your cell phone? Of course, I think using the cell phone is really convenient. And I also think using the eBay app is the most convenient way to go. So from there, you'll want to consider how you plan to package your item. I typically use packaging I already have lying around. So old packaging from Amazon, Old Navy, just some things I already have on hand. If you don't have those things, consider going to the Dollar Tree and seeing if they have some envelopes. You can buy some bubble wrap. Not everything needs to be put in a bubble wrapped package, but you can try there first. You can get your tape from there or any other place you frequent to get your packaging. I normally like to put a barrier between the item and the packaging, so I use tissue paper to wrap up the item, which you can of course get from the Dollar Tree as well. From there, how do you plan to weigh or measure your package? I have a scale that I picked up years and years ago. It's a Biggest Loser scale. It's a kitchen scale, but I use that to weigh my smaller packages. I also have a ruler and a tape measure. Either of these I can use to actually measure the package itself, along with a printer to print your labels. These just makes the selling process super easy and convenient for you. But of course, if you don't have some of these items, you can certainly take care of this at the post office or wherever you plan to ship your item from. Whenever you consider a product to post, you'll want to make sure that it is a clean product, that it's presentable, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a new item as long as it's in pretty good condition. Better yet, it is new with a tag that is visible. Now, I always say this to myself, you never know what people are looking for. Something that may seem old and out of date to you may be seen as vintage or hold memories for someone else. I also do the same for any special characteristics, amendments, any spots, blemishes, or stains. If it's something that's small enough that you don't think would affect the quality of the item, you'll just want to make sure to take really good pictures of those areas and also mention that in the item description so your buyer knows. Once I've decided on my item, I get ready to take pictures. So normally for clothing, I put the clothing on a white hanger and I hang it against a nice clean background, my white door in this case. And I like to give the item as much good lighting as I possibly can by opening a window and turning on my overhead light. Then I go to taking pictures. eBay allows you to post up to 12 pictures, and I try to include as many of those pictures as I can without being too redundant. I like to take a picture of the front, the back, any tags. So you'll want to make sure to take as good a pictures as you can, good quality, up close, not blurry, great clean background. For items that will not hang up, I normally sit them maybe on a chair or a table, again with a nice clean background and great lighting. Now getting ready to list the item. Now, before you list your item, you may want to consider doing some research on eBay. Is there another item that is a lot like yours or exactly like yours that you can compare the pricing for? Now, to be transparent, I normally don't do a lot of this. I typically think of what I spent for the item and what I would be willing to spend for the item in this condition, and then that's what I list the item for. But again, you wouldn't want to go out there and put an item that was way more expensive than other items. That just doesn't make you competitive. But then you may not want your item to be too inexpensive. Sometimes it is really good to do your research first. But then also keep in mind, as you're filling out the listing, you can always save along the way, save your listing as a draft, or once you've even listed the item, go back and revise it. So we've got our pictures ready to go. We're going to go to our eBay app, tap selling, list an item, and then you'll start to build a framework for the title of your item. So I normally start with the color of the item, what it is, like shirt, dress pants, skirt, what brand it is. And then here in the title, if it is new with tags, then you'll definitely want to indicate that by NWT or new with tags spelled out. And especially if you are offering free shipping, you'll want to make sure to include that in the title. Now, normally after you enter this information, then eBay will attempt to look for a like item and say, does this match the description of what you have? Clicking on that item helps to fill in a lot of the fields that are needed for your listing, and that may be helpful, but for this one, it didn't find the item, so we're gonna fill in this information ourselves. We're gonna add our pictures. I like to add the pictures normally in the order I take them: front of the item, the back, any special characteristics, and then the tag. And then down to the specifics of the item. There are certain specifics that are required, and then there are some that are nice to have. I would definitely add as many specifics as you can. As many things as you know about the item. Of course, don't go guessing. If you do have any guesses about the item, you can definitely put that in the description once we go to fill that out. Some people may be looking for a rayon shirt, or they may be looking for a multicolored shirt or a V-neck shirt. So having these things filled out will help get your item in as many searches as possible. So again, you'll want to fill out the fabric. You'll want to fill out the country of origin. I mean, just top to bottom, as many things as you know about this item, go ahead and fill those things out. If you come across any fields that don't have the specific, say, fabric type that your item is made of, you can also add it. And so you'll just go ahead and start spelling it out, and then it'll show at the top what you're entering, and you can hit the plus sign to add that to your listing. If you have a UPC, you'll want to make sure to include the UPC, but if you don't, it's no big deal. There are lots of specifics, but fill out again as many as you can. Make sure eBay has categorized your item correctly. You can see that this one has put it in women's clothing and tops, and that is accurate. From there, I like to add a description, even if it's just a couple sentences. Of course, this is an opportunity for you to highlight any blemishes. Most of the time, I start out my listing by adding some type of adjective to show that I appreciate the product. I'll say this lovely bag, or this vivid yellow purse or something like that. It just, I feel like, shows kind of like a pride and an adoration for the item. And then I'll just go through and indicate a couple things about it. If you only wore it once, you can mention that if it could use some dry cleaning or pressing, that the item comes from a smoke-free, pet-free home. I mean, anything like that that just showcases something that may be difficult to get from seeing the pictures, you'll want to put in this section. On to pricing. You'll decide if you want to go with an auction or a buy it now pricing system. With the auction, though I haven't done this in a while, you can determine how many days you want your auction to go, what is your starting price, and then folks can bid on the item. Now, the auction has some great benefits, but you'll just want to be sure you're totally aware of everything that comes with holding an auction for the item. Again, I don't do that as much anymore. I normally go with buy it now. So whenever you go into the buy it now, it'll tell you what the online trending price is. You can go with that, or you can set your own price. So you can see I've set a price of $6 for this item, and then I have given the opportunity to make an offer. You will have the opportunity to say in the offer section that I don't want to see any offers until it reaches a certain amount. So on here, any offer that comes in under $5, I'm not even made aware of. So I can actually go in and see that an offer was made, but I won't be alerted that that offer was made if it doesn't at least make $5. But again, sometimes that gives me an opportunity to lower the price. If this is an item that has been sitting out in the buy it now section for a while, then I can decide to go ahead and sell that item at that price because I hadn't received another offer, or I just really want to go ahead and get it sold. Now that's the difference also between the auction. The auction has an end that you set. What I really like about buy it now in recent years is that eBay will automatically relist the item once the time frame has passed. So if that's 30 days, after 30 days, the item hasn't sold, it'll relist it for you. For an auction, you have to relist that and give your updated specifications as to how long you plan to run it. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Is it the auction style or the buy it now style? So now we're to the shipping category, and I am not offering free shipping on my items, but I certainly think it is an attractive offer to anyone looking to buy. Though again, you'll just want to make sure you understand the ins and outs. If you're on one coast shipping an item to another coast, it can sometimes be really expensive. So because I am not offering free shipping and I am asking the buyer to pay shipping for this item, then eBay would like for me in this next section to indicate how much the item weighs with packaging and what is the measurement of the package. So I whip out my scale and my tape measure. I make sure especially that the inside of the packaging is clean. The outside, it'll probably get a little dirty by the time it gets to the seller anyway, but I definitely try to make sure it's clean as possible, free of any other labels, of all the old labels. You want to remove them. Make sure the packaging looks nice. Again, it looks like something you would be happy to receive in the mail. I will weigh it, and normally, you just want to make sure that it's free of any items. It's not leaning on anything that would skew the weight of the item. And I'll typically weigh it a few times just to make sure that the weight is accurate. And then I will measure the package itself. And this is all information I will then add to my app and the listing for this item. I make sure the listing indicates the service with the least amount of cost. They can always change this if they want to. If you're offering this be shipped through USPS and they would like to go priority, they can pay for that shipping. But I like to make sure, and eBay probably does this by default, but I just like to double check that the lowest shipping cost is the one that's visible. After adding your shipping information and going back out to the main listing page, you'll see your preferences. If the listing's where you want it, you'll scroll to the bottom. It'll say list it for free. If there's any cost, it should indicate it here. You have the options to list your item, to preview the listing, or save the listing for later if you want to save it as a draft and then come back and add anything or change anything before listing the item. Or if you want to hold off on listing it, you can use save for later, but I am going to list the item, so I'll select that. After you list the item, eBay offers you the opportunity to put easy pricing on this item. I'm going to say maybe next time. And then success, the item is listed. If I want to take a look at that item, I could go to my active listings. Normally, it adds the listing at the bottom. So I'll scroll all the way down to the bottom, and here you'll be able to kind of manage the item. So most of my items, they hang on out there until I either take them off or they are sold. What I like to do from here is just make sure that the item looks really good. If I wanted to change anything about the listing, I could just go in there, tap it, revise the listing. If, say, I thought that first picture, it looked good when I took the picture, but afterward it looked a little blurry to me, then I can go ahead and take another picture, revise that listing, and add the picture. And then I'm just holding and moving that picture to the first slot. You can make all kinds of adjustments once it's done. If you see another item and you're like, wow, I'd like to raise the price on it, or if the item isn't selling and you want to decrease the price on it, then you can do all of that after you revise the listing. But I would caution you against saying, oh, I'll make all these changes later. I have listed items and sold them within hours. So you'll just want to make sure it's in the best place it can be when you first list it. Now, another thing I like to do is when I see an item getting a lot of views, and especially when people go in and say they want to watch the item, normally they're watching for any changes. Maybe they're putting it in their watch list for a later time. If I see that the item is being watched, then a lot of times I will go in there and adjust the price down a little bit just to see if I could get that item sold. Say you get an offer. If the offer looks good, accept the offer and get that item ready to ship out once payment is made. If you get an offer and you're not too thrilled about it, you can make a counter offer indicating what price you would adjust the price for, and add a note that says maybe something along the lines of you would like to get a little more for the item. Now, the potential seller has the opportunity to accept or make another counter offer to see if you can meet in the middle. If not, they can decline the offer and the item still remains in your listing. Say you have sold an item. Yay! eBay will let you know that your item has sold. And once the item is paid for, you can ship it. So then eBay follows up and says the item has been paid for. From there, you'll go ahead and wrap and package the item. I like to wrap my item in the tissue paper and put it in the package. I'll tape up the package, give it one final weigh and measurement, and then you'll go into eBay and enter those final dimensions and weight. From there, you can pay for the shipping from your PayPal account. So again, one thing I like about having the PayPal linked is that the item can be paid for by the buyer in PayPal. So the amount of the item plus shipping minus any eBay fees will be in your PayPal account. So then I will go to PayPal to actually pay for the shipping of the item because the buyer has purchased the shipping with their payment. So I'll go into PayPal and pay for the shipping out of the balance of my PayPal account. Then I'm able to print the label and then take it to the post office or UPS. Quick thing to note for advantage, when you go to the post office, ask your post office worker if when the item has shipping, you don't need a receipt or any confirmation or anything. Do you need to stand in line, or if there's a place you can place the package? And at my post office, if you don't need a receipt, if the packaging has all it needs to go out, then they allow us to sit it in a special area where they pick those items up from. I don't ever have to stand in line for these packages. It's definitely worth a shot to ask your postal worker. Just a quick tip for getting in and out of the post office. And then after I have shipped the item, I'll go back to eBay. I'll go to my seller account and I'll take inventory of how much eBay plans to charge me the next time it rounds up what I owe them. Then I'll go to my PayPal account and transfer the difference of that into my checking account. So I like to make sure the balance of my eBay invoice is in my PayPal account, because when they go to take the charges, I want to make sure that the money is there. They're not chasing down another card or me to get their fee, but it's already there in the PayPal account. And so what I'll do again is check that invoice in the seller account, and then I'll go to PayPal and transfer the difference to my account. So I know that whatever hits my account is exactly mine. I don't owe eBay anything else. That's all for this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, that notification bell, and to give the video a thumbs up. Feel free to ask away with any questions you have. Happy selling. Bye.